Good evening. I would like to call the January 28th, 2025 regular City Council meeting to order. I would like to point out that this meeting is being hosted through live stream on the city's website. I would like to remind council to have their microphones turned on and positioned so the audience can hear. Deputy City Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Krupa,
Present.
Councilmember Lodge,
Here.
Councilmember Males,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick,
Here.
Mayor Peterson.
Here.
All members are present.
The invocation will be by Christian Tikas, State Church of Select Council member, after which Council Member Males will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Let us pray. Dear Almighty God, we come before you seeking wisdom and guidance as we face the decisions ahead for the city of Hemet. You promise to direct our paths when we trust in you. Help us to surrender our plans to your perfect will and give us the clarity of mind as we conduct governance for your city. May your Holy Spirit lead us in every choice we make tonight, illuminating the path that aligns us with your purpose for our city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. You'll face the flag, please, and your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Earl.
You had to get that in there, huh? We will now go to communications from the public. There is a 3-minute per person time limit for all general public comments on non-public hearing items. All who wish to speak, including council members and staff, need to be recognized by the mayor before speaking. Please state your name and item you are commenting on before speaking. We will take public comment for items listed on the agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. The first speaker we have is Kenneth Prado. And it's Prado. It's all right. Pardo, Prada, whatever.
Can you bring it closer to you? I'm
All right.
having trouble hearing for some reason.
How's that?
Oh, that's
All right. Am I ready? All right. I stand before you tonight as a resident of Hemet, a husband, a father, and an advocate for the Hispanic community. Those that know me know that in anything I do to bring awareness, I haven't never, nor will I ever use skin color as an identifying marker, which when making decisions for the betterment of all involved, I believe that is not a strong characteristic. However, merit, decency, and respect for others is what I assimilate with. Having recognitions of different cultural backgrounds is a positive approach for others to become more aware and cognitive to what makes us unique and not different. It is with a heavy heart to address the potential decision by the City Council tonight to no longer recognize Hispanic Heritage Month through a proclamation, despite it being recognized for many years. As we know, Hemet's Hispanic population constitutes nearly half of the city's residents, I being one of them. This demographic plays an essential role in the cultural, social, and economic life of our city. It is troubling that despite the significant presence, by the significant presence of Hispanics in the city, it has chosen to recognize only one culture or ethnicity this calendar year while disregarding others, including the Hispanic community. The exclusion of other cultures and ethnicities from recognition perpetuates a system of unequal representation and creates division within our community. The contribution of Hispanics to America are vast and undeniable, from the labor of Hispanic workers who helped build the railroads, who contribute to the ag culture, to the leadership of Hispanic Americans in every field, from politics and education to entertainment and to the military. The Hispanic culture has shaped the fabric of this country. Achievements of figures like Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta, Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, and Guillermo Gonzalez Camareno, a Mexican electrical engineer who was the inventor of a color wheel type of color television. Thanks to him, you can see color TV. And to the everyday contributions of millions of Hispanic families, these contributions continue to enrich our nation in profound ways. By singling out only one community for recognition while excluding others, the city of Hemet inadvertently fosters an environment of division rather than unity. Should we assume that there are some on the city council who feel that certain communities and their histories are more deserving of recognition than others? This perception only deepens the racial divide that we should be striving to bridge, not reinforce. The removal of Hispanic Heritage Month is not only a disservice to the Hispanic community, but it also reflects a harmful, racially biased decision that undermines the unity we should strive for as a city. I urge the council to reconsider this decision and reinstate Hispanic Heritage Month in our annual proclamation. And by doing so, we will demonstrate our commitment to inclusiveness, respect, and the equal recognition of all communities in Hemet. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Public comment for items not listed on the agenda but within jurisdictional matter.
Yes, Mayor, we have Luciano Orozco.
If we have some Seven Hills residents, could you please join me here?
And Mayor, Mr. Orozco has been donated 3 minutes from another speaker for a total of 6
This is
minutes.
in gratitude to the police and the fire for all their hard work, and especially for the Chambers fire we had
Speak in the mic.
not too long ago. And we want to give them a token of our gratitude. And can I, okay, with Cynthia's going to finish.
Fire and the police
And the
department
police.
up here, please?
Yes.
Let her speak too.
Mm-hmm.
You need to say something.
As a former teacher, I always looked forward to Fire Safety Day, and I, like all of the young ones, fell in love with all the firemen when they would teach us to stop, drop, and roll. But never have I fallen more in love with them than the day that they saved Seven Hills from what could have been a terrible disaster. I want to honor you this evening. It hardly seems enough for the bravery and the professionalism that you showed us. Thank you for being so efficient and committed to your jobs.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Back of us. Fire.
Fire.
Fire. Thank you so much. Thank you, appreciate that, ma'am. This is actually the incident commander, Battalion Chief Laura Excel. She did a fantastic job along with our brothers in blue. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
That's for PD.
Okay.
This is for the police department.
And this is for the police department.
I didn't actually single out the police department, but I cannot tell you, you did a fabulous job, very organized, very professional. You calmed us down and let us know each step of the way what to expect. Thank you.
Can I get a picture? Can everyone come up and I'll get a picture? Please? Mayor, can I get a picture?
They're all going this way, so all of you guys
Wait, maybe have fire department.
on this side, this side.
Works for me. No, you're marked.
We'll
We
show
know
the
your
tail of the
names.
haves and have not.
I know who you are, though.
Come on, guys. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Everybody, get in there.
Oh.
Captain Moore was there too.
Can you guys get closer?
Know each other and like each other.
We're all one big happy family.
I can do that.
He's short today.
Can we photobomb?
Okay. Who could do that?
All right.
Chief, you want to get one more?
Good job, guys.
Very nice.
Thank you once again.
Mayor, can I say a word?
Yes, you may.
Okay, thank you. I personally want to thank our police and our firefighters also. I live in Seven Hills. We had a lot of citizens that were nervous, a lot of citizens that were calling me and texting me. I started posting stuff on Facebook to make everyone aware that our police and our fire were there doing their job, and you guys did a fantastic job, and we're proud of you. Thank you.
I also want to add a comment. At my day job, I had several colleagues come up to me and say that they had parents or relatives living in Seven Hills, and they were extremely appreciative of PD and fire. So it's traveling out there, all the great work that you guys did. Thank you so much.
And Mayor, we did have another request from Maria Gunther, but I don't know if that was, I think it was part of the same presentation. So that concludes our public comments. And yes, Mayor, we have a request from the city manager and city attorney to add an item to the agenda for tonight's meeting. This would be a closed session item following the end of our open session. And it would be related to anticipated litigation, initiation of litigation, 3 matters. That requires a 2/3 vote to add it to the agenda. It's an item that came to our attention today and requires city council direction at the earliest opportunity. So we'd ask for that motion in second.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We will now move on to the sorry.
Sorry, we actually have to do a roll call for that one.
Loud and echoey.
So, for a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick, second by Councilmember Lodge. We'll start with Councilmember Krupa,
Yes.
Councilmember Lodge,
Yes.
Councilmember Males,
Yes.
It's echoing.
Councilmember Kendrick, or
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
and Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0.
We will now move to the receive and file report this evening. For this item, I would like to invite Community Solutions Coordinator Christian Tikas to the podium for a presentation on the Homeless Ad Hoc Committee Update Report.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor. Christian Tikas, Community Solutions Coordinator. We're going to update you on this receive and file with a small update presentation on all things homeless that we met with the Homeless Ad Hoc Committee last month. And so, is our slide up there? Great. There we go. So as you know, the Community Solutions Coordinator position was started back in May of last year. And my primary objectives were to handle homeless mitigation, to handle the C-Click Fix management for the app for the city, and also the city ombudsman. Since then, I will update you on some of the homeless mitigation items that we've established. Immediately, we established a HOPE unit for the Hemet City Department, which created a website that now has resources for homeless and other personnel seeking either resources or just help in general. We've also started a monthly HOPE meeting collaborative with our resource partners that include CityNet, Riverside County Behavioral Health, Valley Restart, Healthcare in Action, the Hemet PD Aero Unit, Lighthouse Social Services for Veterans, and other organizations as well. We meet monthly, and out of that we do some case management and also talk about some of the high barrier people that are out here homeless. Some other items that we've also done is the resources are also now officially kind of working together. We at first saw that there was a lot of organizations kind of doing their own thing, and we're now setting kind of a standard for them to work with us or to at least notify us with some of the things that they want to do. And it's actually forming a really good collaborative atmosphere with a lot of the organizations. Last week on January 22nd, we conducted the point-in-time homeless count, which we are still waiting for the final numbers on that. But as a note, 2023, our count was at 207 unsheltered individuals for our city at the time. Some of the major milestones that we've completed, like I said, was the Resource Hope page that is being marketed on some of the materials that we pass out, including our business toolkit booklet that we use on our business walks, and we also provide those things to residents of the area as well. City of Hemet now has a primary point of contact, which is myself, for all things homeless, which helps coordinate a lot of the countywide things and also gives us the point of contact information for all things homeless. And we'll also, lastly, in October, we coordinated a community outreach day, which was World Homeless Day. And we housed that day 20 individuals, where there was over 300 attendees and 77 organizations that participated. Other relative updates, including the SeeClickFix app, we have an average of around 300 requests per month that we receive internally on that, with an average closing date of 3 days on each request. The homeless encampment requests also are acknowledged and responded to within the same day and are typically closed within 2 days as well. And as per CityNet, we have a current caseload of 111 homeless clients within the city, 25 of which are being housed through the Motel Bridge housing program. And our Hope Team unit plans on doing an outreach day for our high barrier, severely mentally ill clients to find better services or things that are going to be a little more hands-on for them here in the near future as well. And I intend to produce a short educational video on responsible giving and just how to not to enable the homeless population within our city. And so moving on to the recommendations that we discussed, recommendation 1 is to complete a request for proposal process for the homeless outreach management services that we currently have for the city. The City of Hemet currently contracts with CityNet, and this will allow other invite proposals for other organizations, including CityNet, to ensure just effective outreach and service delivery that the city will now monitor and a little more closely. And the CityNet contract will expire on June 30th of this year, and we either intend on moving forward with another provider or CityNet, or we will consider also what it would be to handle internal staffing for that sort of homeless management as well. Recommendation 2 is to publish a request for proposal for room and board vendor partnerships, and this will expand our efforts to help just really provide better housing options for the homeless individuals. The room and boards are something that we have already kind of noticed that will be a better monetary investment as far as just using motels. And this will allow us to really permit other room and boards to petition and become vendors with the city to receive either vendor vouchers and or just services for our homeless population. This will also give us a little more just kind of hands-on into seeing and establishing a standard for the room and boards and allowing us to really just kind of provide better service, more accountability, and allow for the homeless population to have those services instead of them just being alone in motels. We do plan on doing a field trip, hopefully in the future, with council to some of the actual example facilities that we're planning on partnering with. And lastly, recommendation 3 is to pursue some grant opportunity fundings for motel conversion projects. We're actively monitoring and seeking opportunities at the state and federal funding for existing motel conversions, whether to either veteran or senior housing or income eligible affordable housing for other populations as well. And we anticipate partnering with a reputable nonprofit, the county, and maybe some motel sellers as well in the future to potentially put out some of these projects for our city and our community. And at this point, it will conclude my presentation. Any questions?
Mayor?
Yes.
Do you see anything in the near future of any changes with this new administration that they may come up with any ideas on how to counter this? We've already spent over $32+ billion on homelessness throughout from 2013 to 2024, mid-2024. And just within the last 5 years, we spent $24 billion of that 32. And it just doesn't seem like anything's getting better. We have 30,000 more homeless, and it's averaging out to $160,000 per homeless that we paid into this, trying to get these homeless off the street. And It just doesn't seem to work in everything we're doing now.
Are you referring to our new incoming administration?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything specific, at least addressing some of the new homeless resources, but again, that's something based on available funding, most likely that they will probably provide, so.
I have a question.
Sure.
On item 2, is there any way we could also put in there on 24-hour notice? Like they do in...
Give me an example.
For an inspection, if we have a
24-hour notice
complete...
inspection?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that will fall under kind of our building safety and
It will be in
code
the paperwork,
enforcement.
yeah.
Yeah, and
And
so
then-
we will probably end up setting up some of those procedures and guidelines as far as at least maintaining some sort of oversight on some of these places.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I also want to thank you again for the presentation you did last night.
Sure.
Very informative, and I think education for our residents on what the city is doing and what is being accomplished will go a long way. But I also really appreciate what you're bringing forward on this, because all 3 of these items are so important. I really like number 2, because putting people up in a hotel unsupervised
Mhm.
does nothing
No.
for anybody.
Yeah, we agree.
And putting them into basically group homes
Mhm.
is what it is, with supervision and services. It's the only way to start solving the problem.
I agree.
So congratulations. I mean, this is good work.
Thank you.
and I
Definitely
really
a group
appreciate
effort.
it.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you
And
for
with
your time.
that, we will receive and file the report.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
We will now move to the consent calendar. All consent calendar items will be acted upon simultaneously unless requested by an individual council member for separate consideration. Are there any members of the council that would like to pull any consent items for separate consideration?
Yes, 8G and 8H.
Tom?
Oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and whichever one the proclamations is on.
Oh,
A-
yeah.
8F.
Okay,
8F.
thank you.
I was gonna pull it.
Yeah. Eight.
Tom, you have any?
No, she's taking...
I would like to pull 8E also, and with it 8F. I have some comments on that.
Okay, so I have E, F, G, and H. Can I have a motion to approve the items or the remaining items?
I'll make the motion to approve all items, other than those pulled.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a motion by Councilmember Mails, second by Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick, to approve the consent calendar with the removals of items 8E, F, G, and H for separate consideration. I will do a roll call. Councilmember Krupa.
Yes.
Councilmember Lodge.
Yes.
Councilmember Mails.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0. Moving on to item E. I believe is the first. Yeah, item 8E.
8E?
8E.
Okay. My question is that once, I know this cannabis permitting was supposed to be done by November of last year, and now we're in the end of January. Once we vote, or actually we vote, no, we didn't, we'll vote it in now, but once it's voted in, when will the permitting process start?
31 days.
So Mayor, we're going to go through an application process first, and that process will be a thorough review of a number of issues, but that would begin 30 days after tonight. We would develop the application process between now and 30 days from now, and then open that up at the conclusion of the adoption of the ordinance, which takes effect 30 days later.
And then once that's complete, another 30 days we have to wait, or?
No, we would open the application process. I just want you to know it's a comprehensive process, and it's going to take some time to review and then interview.
So we looking like February, March?
It's hard for me to pin
April,
down a date, but I
May.
can I think the staff can put together a calendar for the council to understand some expectations on that.
Okay, thank you. 8F, I think. Or do they have to?
Can we get a motion?
Oh, no, we got to get a motion first. I'll make the motion to approve 80.
A second it?
Thank you. I'll do a roll call. Councilmember Krupa,
Yes.
Councilmember Lodge,
Yes.
Councilmember Males,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0. We will now move to item 8F.
Want me to go first?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'll go first on 8F. Just a couple things to say on that. We were all instructed basically to give our recommendations to the city manager to prepare the suggested list for 2025. And one of my comments in my recommendations were to honor anyone who came forward that requested a proclamation from the city, and if it had bearing on the community in any way that was important, that absolutely we would add that to the list and we would do it. I don't think any of us had any intention whatsoever to slight any group of any kind. And Hispanic heritage, of course, is important, just as so many of them are. But I would make a suggestion because what we have for Black history is just that, Black history, which involves the community and involves the children. Get in touch with the Human Relations Council and establish the Hispanic history along with Hispanic Month. It's a great way of doing it. It brings the kids out. It involves the schools. We all learn. I go to Black History Month every year because I always learn something about somebody in Black history that I didn't know before, because basically wasn't taught when I was in school at all. So it's an educational process, and absolutely, I don't think anybody means to exclude anybody, but I appreciate your comments, Ken. Really
So
important.
that's the same for Juneteenth also?
Yeah, it's a history thing, educational processes, but definitely not to slight any ethnic group or any group at all.
Well, I believe 47 to 49% of Hispanics deserve a proclamation for Hispanic Heritage Day also.
Don't
And
have a problem.
I would like to table this for the next meeting so we can all be on the same level on what we want to do here. And also, I didn't think that they would take away the prayer, but where am I looking at here? September, the national, or where is it?
National Prayer Month?
Yeah, National Prayer Month. Or June? I'm sorry, June, I was thinking Hispanic thing. Okay, the National Month of Prayer. I mean, this whole valley is filled with God-fearing, God-loving people here. I mean, we have more here per capita than any other city, and to take that out, I never thought it would be taken away. I knew that the United States Marine Corps birthday was on the cuffs of getting taken off, but that's the one I fought for. And then I end up seeing all the other military branches on here, which is fine. I have no problem with that. I love our Navy. I love I don't know about the Coast Guard, but I love our Navy. No, I'm just kidding.
That's good.
But I would like to table this so we can get together and really get a good list on here and not have to have the people feeling that, that their proclamations are being pulled. I mean, what's a proclamation? 10 minutes of our time per proclamation, if that? I mean, I don't see why, we had to change it to begin with. I mean, the additions that we had all the time, they were cumbersome sometimes, but hey, people want to be recognized. So I would make a motion to table this until the next meeting so we can get something, on this list that's going to benefit everyone, not just certain people.
But again, I'll reiterate, I don't think we would turn anybody down that made a request. And that's how this list started, was people from the community making the requests. Some of them we added on our own,
Yeah.
And hopefully, some of those we've taken off on our own. But having relevance to the community, I think, is extremely important. But you're right. Hispanic heritage is, they were here before any Caucasians were.
That's
And prayer, yeah.
And prayer.
Well, the Indians. would
Praying is
say.
good.
Prayer
But we
is
do, you notice we do not have that. We have
Yeah.
nothing honoring Native Americans.
We should have that on.
There you go. We could fill it up. We could have 40 of them every week.
I will second the motion to table this.
I want to say something first. Did you want to say something, Carol? Okay. Okay, so I've done a little research on this. And this is just a sample of the 2024-2025 Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Calendar. On here, there are 15 ethnic holidays, and that's not all of them. There are 7 national health observance days, and that's not all of them. We know there's a lot more diseases than 7. So I agree, you should include everybody, and it's impossible to include everybody. So right now, we only have 1 ethnic holiday on the calendar, and we have 1 health item. So that's not including everybody. And Councilmember Krupa suggested something at our last meeting, that we could honor people in different ways. We could put it on social media, we can put it in our city newsletter. You know, you're going to leave people out. And there's no way that you can cover everybody.
First of all, we have a motion on the floor and we have a second. So
This is
that
discussion.
should prioritize,
This is a
anything.
discussion first, though.
even though we have a motion and a second. Ask your attorney friend right there.
Would you like me to be the parliamentarian?
Go ahead.
Okay, so typically, a motion to table, once it's seconded, usually isn't debated. Usually you vote on it. The city follows Rosenberg's Rules of Order, which are a little bit more lenient when it comes to that. But unless you have a substitute motion on the floor, my recommendation would be to vote on the motion that you have.
Okay, may we have a vote?
I will do roll call. Councilmember Krupa, I'm sorry, we have a motion by Councilmember Males, second by Councilmember Lodge. We'll start with Councilmember Krupa.
No.
Councilmember Lodge.
No. Let's get this done.
Councilmember Males.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick.
No.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
Alrighty, that motion fails 3-2. We're moving the meeting item to the next meeting.
So when a motion to table fails, it's still up for debate, Mayor, and you can solicit other motions or have further discussion.
May I speak?
Yes, you may.
All right, I make a motion to put National Hispanic Heritage Month back on September for 2025, and also on June, National Month of Prayer for 2025.
I'll second that motion.
Alrighty, we have a motion by Councilmember Mayo, second by Councilmember Krupa to add those items to the proclamation list. I'm going to start with Councilmember Krupa,
Yes.
Councilmember Lodge,
Yes.
Councilmember Males,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0.
So, Mayor, that was a motion to add it. I still think you need a motion to actually approve the resolution with that amendment.
I'll make that motion.
What was the,
Actually pass it with the addition of those.
We're going to pass it with the addition of those two.
okay.
I second that.
We have a motion by, was it Councilmember Mails?
No, Krupa.
Councilmember Krupa, sorry. Second by Councilmember Lodge to approve it with the additions. I'm going to go with Councilmember Krupa,
Yes.
Councilmember Lodge,
Yes.
Councilmember Mails,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0.
Eight G?
Yes. Fire chief, or whoever wants to come up. I just have a couple questions on this and actual concerns. Let me hit my little thing here. Don't have a problem with actually what we're doing on it, because turnouts are important, and I know they are also expensive. But being a sole source, I'm curious as why we don't have a current letter from the sole source stating what turnouts are, what they cost. We have a letter from, I believe, January of 2023, and nothing from them stipulating how much each one of the turnouts is.
Sure. Good evening, Council, Ms. Mayor. We do have a current sole source letter on board, and the reason that we do that is the turnouts that we use are customized to a HEMT-specific specification. We do that to ensure continuity amongst the members. We put pockets in the same place. We make sure that they're made of the same material, that they're the same color, they're identifiable as a HEMT-specific. The vendor that we use is Lion. Lion is sold specifically through All-Star, so that is why we have the sole source letter from All-Star. We do have a current sole source letter. It was recently received by our management analysts, as well as we do have the updated quote, as well as since the quote was slightly older than the days indicated, we verified with them through an email that the quote was going to be valid. So the total was just shy of the amount on the staff report. So the staff reports were $57,400. The total quote came up to $57,380.
I appreciate that, and just for further, next time when this happens, if you could include that in the packet.
Understood. Thank you.
Just for transparency and everything for people who actually read the staff reports and the attachments.
Understood.
I know what a turnout is now.
Yes, so that was my comment and concern. I want to make sure that everything is there that we have from the vendor, the cost from them, and yes, ours may be special, and I appreciate that, and our firefighters definitely deserve them, so not a problem with that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Curiosity question, how many BCs do we have?
We have 3, sir.
3?
Any other discussion?
Councilmember Krupa got mine, so. You know, expired quotes and stuff like that, that's a trigger.
May I get a motion?
I will make a motion to approve this item.
I'll
I'll
second.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll second.
After you.
Thank you. We have a motion by Councilmember Krupa, second by Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick. I'll do roll call. Councilmember Krupa,
Yes.
Councilmember Lodge,
Yes.
Councilmember Mails,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
We'll now go on to 8H.
Thank you. Where's 8H? GH. Was that the one I wanted?
The block development.
Yes. Just comment on this, that in the staff report, when it gets down to previous council action, a couple of the dates are incorrect. That on January 10th, 2023, council appointed, not that one. Oh, you changed? Did you change it?
Yeah, the new one. Yes, we changed the wording on it.
I didn't see the corrected copy.
Councilmember Krupa, that was brought to the staff's attention, and we researched the date, and we updated the actual council members that were correctly referred to in the staff report and republished.
Thank you. I did not see the republished one, and my bad on that. So thank you for doing that, because, yeah, the dates and the people were wrong. Thank you for correcting it. And if no comments, I will make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. I will do a roll call. We have a motion by Councilmember Krupa, second by Councilmember Lodge. Councilmember Krupa?
Yes.
Councilmember Lodge?
Yes.
Councilmember Males?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0.
We will now move to our discussion items. Can we have a report from staff on discussion item 9A?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to substitute for the city clerk tonight. We're excited to bring you a recommendation for the creation of a Hemet Youth Council. To distinguish this from the Mayor-Mentee program, the Mayor-Mentee program was focused on providing education to youth about the city. And while this program still preserves that, this program is designed to help, through the use of the Hemet Youth Council, receive feedback from the youth perspective on various policy matters in front of the City Council. And so, in working with the council ad hoc of Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick and Councilmember Lodge, and in working with research that was prepared by the city clerk, we are recommending the appointment of an 11-member body, that these members would be between the ages of 13 and 19. They would be enrolled in high school or the equivalent in the city of Hemet, in the Hemet sphere of influence, or within the Hemet Unified School District boundaries. They would serve one-year terms from July 1 to June 30th, and they may be reappointed. There's no limit on the reappointment, so we've provided that flexibility. The members must maintain a GPA of 2.5, and they would need to submit a letter of recommendation, and those can come from a number of different people. The implementation plan would be to recruit in the spring and essentially interview and appoint at the first or second council meeting in June, with the new body taking effect in July. And if you look at the exhibit there are several cities here that we looked at, particularly the duties and functions of the body. And if you look at Exhibit A to the resolution, which is found on the last 2 pages of the staff report, I want to draw your attention to the duties and responsibilities, because this was a focus of trying to glean some of the best ideas from the other cities and make them Hemets. And so the duties and responsibilities would consist of gathering youth and community input through civic engagement activities. A good example of that may be to prepare an annual survey of youth, and so the council itself would design that, deliver it, and then share the results with the city council. And then imagine over time, similar questions are asked each time. If it's the same question, we can trend and look at trend analysis on some of those questions. So that's something that perhaps this body can do each year. Secondly, identify and recommend solutions to improve programs, policies, and practices affecting young people in the city. This is very broad, so it gives us a lot of flexibility in terms of how to bring them in to recommend and provide feedback on various issues. You can also refer specific matters to them. That's letter E here. You can refer municipal matters, either the council or city committees as appropriate, and seek recommendations from the youth council. Very similar to B. On C, promote and encourage youth interest and participation in community affairs. So we have used mayor-mentees to help us with various events, but they help us promote events as well. So we look forward to working with this body in that capacity. D is to assist in city events and learn about government operations. So this is, again, provides some flexibility for us. And finally, an annual report to the City Council. We think it's a good idea to chronicle the work of the Youth Council over each fiscal year and build a body that they can, the subsequent groups can look to and build upon. So we're happy to answer any questions that you have regarding the thinking and the composition and the duties of the recommended youth council. And I'll conclude there. Thank you.
Thank you for staff presentation. Council, do you have any questions or
Okay.
comments?
My question is, it says youth, but I see on some of these cities like Beaumont, they're up to 25 years old? Or am I looking at the right thing?
Joe, I think 50 is the new 25 also, right?
Say it again?
50 is the new 25, I like to think. But I think you're right. There are a number of cities, and this was a real question for the ad hoc, because this is one of the discoveries that we found in the research, is that a number of cities have a fairly wide range on the ages, and so they did creep into the 20s. We started at 14 to 18 and then grew that to 13 to 19 to provide a little flexibility, because sometimes kids are a little younger or a little older. But we didn't grow into the college years.
Yeah, I've seen some of them have college students that are part of this, but 25, my God. Anyone else? Your computer yet?
I think this is an excellent idea and something that has been talked about in Hemet for many, many, many years and not brought to fruition. So I'm absolutely in favor of this, and it's such a great experience, not only for the youth, but for the adults. And their input is invaluable. So this is a fantastic idea. Thank you, Ad hoc, for pushing this forward and bringing it forward. I will share that a few years ago, through the Community Services Policy Committee of the League that I was on, we did a research paper, we started a research project on smoking in the city, and enlisted Hemet Unified, the high school kids in that, and I think it was through the PLUS program. And these kids just took it. I mean, they owned it. They did research on different apartment complexes in town, on smoking in public places, in parks, did research on the effect of the nicotine from the cigarettes that were dropped in the park, and the effect of that nicotine in the grass and the effect on dogs' paws. It was fantastic. The only part of their research I didn't like was that they gathered up these boxes of cigarette butts and brought them to a council meeting, and the stench was overwhelmingly horrible. But they did this, they created an advertising program, and Assemblyman Ruiz came out and worked with them, and we had big gatherings, and it was absolutely incredible. They did such a great job. As a result of that, the city of Hemet raised their rating with the American Lung Association from a D to an A, and it was all because of the kids. So anytime we can enlist their help and get them enthused with things like this, it's a win-win, win-win-win-win-win. Everybody wins in those categories, so thank you again.
So I just have a couple comments. As I've seen this in action during my day job, it is fantastic to see the youth excited and engaged about government. I can tell you when I was their age, that's probably the furthest thing from my mind. And I really hope that our staff are able to engage with them. Like I said, I've had to do 101 classes just to let them know what I do, what my staff does on a daily basis. So I think this is such an important program, and it's so wonderful to see the youth. It gives me hope, because sometimes it's hard to find people that want to come into government. So I think this would be a great program.
And I just want to make one short comment. I ran into a lady that some of you know. She's seen around town, a little vivacious gal named Vanity. And she was going to be here tonight, but unfortunately she got sick. So she approached me last week at a chamber mixer. And she said, you know, I've been talking to the kids in the community, and they want to be more involved. And I'm like, you know what? We have something on our agenda this week for a youth council, and she was going to come and promote it. But I think it would be great if we get some of the community involved in it too, like you do with the arts and culture ad hoc, and get some of our community members that are like maybe a teacher or, you know, a pastor or someone like Vanity that is out there with the public and the kids and stuff all the time. So I think it's a great program, and I'm looking forward to see what kind of feedback and what kind of suggestions we get from the community and what they want to see in our city. So good work. With that, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Deputy Clerk, Deputy City Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Thank you, Mayor. We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick, second by Councilmember Lodge. I will do a roll call. Councilmember Krupa,
Yes.
Councilmember Lodge,
Yes.
Councilmember Males,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0.
Can we have a report from staff for item 9B, please?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tiffany Barnett, Administrative Services Director, here to give you a presentation tonight on a mid-year review, fiscal year 24-25. So the fiscal year 24-25 budget was adopted on June 24th. At the time of the adoption, the revenue estimates to expenditures were as follows. We have the $80,150,000 in revenue, and then the use of one-time fund balance for investment projects of $10,103,300, and then we deployed the vacancy factor of $3,117,000 for a total of $93,370,300. And that met with our general fund expenditures, leaving us with a budget surplus deficit of 0, which is a balanced budget. So part of the breakdown of the $10,103,300 was split between general fund and Measure U. Measure U had one project that was a portion of the CityNet, was paid out of that, was $532,800. The rest did go under general fund, and it was about $9.5 million that the city committed to invest in the public. And a lot of that, you can see the breakdown is there. We did have $2.4 million for the liability premium, and then $2 million in the citywide street pavement improvements. And then $1 million in an operating transfer to the liability. So we had a lot of that liability issues that were top heavy, but then we did have the $500,000 for the citywide facade improvement, the city beautification, $300,000 in kitchen grants, $213,000 for election costs, $200,000 for the pension 115 trust contribution, and then you'll see it goes from there all the way down to the $20,000 for the paid cabling. So these are the projects that the city did commit to for investing into the infrastructure for the city. And then we are going to roll into our general fund revenues. As of December 31st of 2024, all general fund revenue collection, so that's in the entirety of all funds, was 31.56% compared to last year at the same time it was 33.16. So it is a little bit behind. In the analysis, the general fund sales tax revenues are not doing as strong as we initially had budgeted. However, the property taxes are coming in much higher than we had initially anticipated. So keep in mind that the larger bulk of the revenues are collected in the second half of the fiscal year due to the sales tax being collected 2 months in arrears, and the property taxes are collected in December and in April. So even though it says we're at 31%, there is still a large amount of revenue that is still needs to be collected in the second half of the year. So to date, sales tax revenue collected is $12,903,000, with Measure U's receiving $6.6 million, or 40.159% of its revenue, budgeted revenue. The Bradley Burns tax is receiving $6.2 million, or an equivalent of 37.395% of its budgeted revenue, for an approximate total of 42% of all sales tax. In aggregate, the sales tax revenues are trending behind approximately 6.96%, or $2.3 million, but they are trending stronger than they were last year. Much of the downturn can be attributed to the higher interest rates and the impact on auto sales. So, the property tax revenue that we are receiving as of December 31st is it's doing very well. We have collected $4.3 million, which is about 49% of the budgeted revenues for the year. And keep in mind that we still get a collection in late January, which I just found out did come in. It's at $1.8 million. And then we get another large payment in May. So being that we're already at 50% of that is very good, and we are forecasting to actually be ahead of budget on that. So we fall far behind on the sales tax side. We are making up on the property tax end of things. So according to HDL reports, property tax is at a growth rate of 6.3% from prior fiscal year, which is good news. And the city is currently ahead of receipts received at the same time last year by 11%. So even though we did really well in the past few years and we kind of took a dip, we are making a turn back in the right direction. So interest revenue, which has been very exciting for the city, because in the entire history of the city, we've never received the amount of interest that we have on our investments. So ending the year of 23-24, we received in excess of $3.2 million in interest alone, and then an additional $1.1 million in the GASB 31 fair market value adjustment. Now, the GASB adjustment, just to let you guys know, is unrealized gains and losses of the fair market value difference. So it's not really a realized gain or loss, but we do have to book it as an entry. So that's almost about $4.3 million in interest revenue alone, which we were lucky if we made positive in the past couple of years. So that's been really exciting. So year to date, we had budgeted $600,000, and we've already approximately received $2.2 million. So, I mean, that's just astronomical. If I put it in a percentage, it was like 500%, so it looked kind of silly, so I didn't put it in there. But anyway, we're projecting to end the year in excess of $3.4 million. That is always dependent on interest rates, and then also the GASB 31 adjustment that has to be done. But like I said, with the sales tax coming behind in our projections, we are making up a tremendous amount of headway with the property tax and the interest. So finance is closely monitoring the sales tax. So we will keep an eye on that and make sure that if there's anything that we see down the road that does need to be adjusted, we will bring that to attention. Fortunately, we are having a healthy state of the property tax and the development fees along with interest, and this mitigates the decline in the sales tax. And as far as the revenues go for the general fund, the staff is not currently recommending any mid-year adjustments to revenue. So we're going to roll into expenditures now. Through the end of December 2024, general fund departments are within their budget, with the collective expenditures approximately 46% of budget. So that's pretty good. General fund expenditures are currently at 33.7 million, and Measure U expenditures are at 7.3 million. And then the bar graph there does depict how much is budgeted and then how much we've spent thus far to date. So we are doing very well. Since the budget adoption, the City Council has subsequently approved $200,000 in one-time use of general fund reserves for the following items, which is the AMR penalty fee projects of $98,453, almost $4,000 in matching funds for the Assistance to Firefighters grant, $23,200 for a payroll companion position within finance for the retirement of our payroll administrator, $37,000 for staff augmentation in community development, and then an additional $37,500 for a citywide classification study. So these are the additional expenditures that we did add into general fund. So this year was one of the first years that we ever deployed a vacancy factor to help us close the gap on our deficit that we had in the budget. So this factor is 3.1 million, and it's an accumulation of the salary savings, and it's our anticipated salary savings while taking into account that the newly adopted competitive rates would gradually decline because we'd be able to hire personnel. So it is like a formula there of how we came up with the vacancy factor. And as of today, we actually, well, the pay period ending January 19th, we have $3.1 million of salary savings. So we're pretty much there for the target that we were looking for. And there, we can only go above and beyond that from here. So that's good news as well. So for the general fund expenditures, we have performed a thorough review, and right now we are not recommending any mid-year amendments at this time. So no revenue and no expenditure adjustments. This next slide is a snapshot of where we're projecting our fund balance. We do have our revenues at $80,196,000 and our expenditures at $105,999. That does give us a deficit of $25,800,000. You add in that vacancy factor of $3 million, and it's showing a deficit of $22.6 million. And this may look alarming, but it's not. You need to take into account that this includes continuing appropriations from 23-24, which were $13 million alone that we carried forward from prior years, and the budget carries with that as well. And then we had our use of one-time fund balance projects that we did going into this fiscal year of $10 million. So when you net that all together, we're actually looking at a surplus of $600,000 at the end of the year. So a few notes to make on this is that the budget and the deficit are the deficit that is reflecting is based on if we were to receive all of our revenue that we're projecting and expend all of the expenditures that we have budgeted. So in reality, when everything is said and done, we'd never really spend all of the money that we have budgeted for. We may not receive all of the revenue, so it's just we're basing it off of this is if we were to receive everything and then spend everything. So that is where we're at right now. The next slide will take that $22 million deficit and kind of reflect where that ends our fund balance. Now, we're currently in the process of finalizing our 23-24 audit. So this graph here, or this table, depicts where we currently stand. So the fund balance ending as of June 30th, 24 is $73 million. And then we take that $22 million out of what we have for all of the investments into the projects, and we still have a fund balance of $50,463,000. Now, again, this is just an estimation, and it is based off of if we do receive all of our revenues and expend all of our expenditures. So with that, that is the presentation. And if you have any questions or would like to,
Mayor,
yes. Oh, sorry.
a couple questions. You said in housing that we're doing real well in housing on the taxes that are coming in. Where are we lacking? Is it the auto mall that's not selling cars, or because that's one of our biggest businesses out there?
The sales tax is what's lagging, and sales tax is highly driven by auto sales in the city. But with meeting with HDL, it's not an issue that's just specific to Hemet, it's regional. All other cities are having difficulties selling cars, and a lot of that is too because the interest rates are so high that people are kind of avoiding purchasing cars right now. So it does have a huge impact.
I got you. Also, how do I get that presentation, that PowerPoint presentation?
I can send it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a lot of time tomorrow and the
Oh,
next day.
sure, I can send it to
So-
all of you.
Yeah, I'd like it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, please, if you would.
Yeah.
Just a couple comments and observations. Is second quarter sales tax usually more robust? So we can expect maybe
Yeah.
a little bit of a catch-up?
Yeah, it's usually around another $3 million for the general fund. There's still a lot that goes into the districts, but for general fund itself, yeah, it's another big, heavy item that comes in.
Okay.
Can I elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure.
With some changes at the state level, they've modified the approach to sales tax distribution. And for the first 2 months of each quarter, they're based more on estimates, and the third month of each quarter is a true-up, if you will. And so last year, the true-up for December was about $500,000 more than the average in the first 2 months of that quarter. And that's a big leap. It was about 1.1 to 1.6. That was the leap. And so we're hovering in the 1.1 to 1.2 number right now, and we haven't received our December numbers, right?
No.
So we're poised to receive our December numbers, in the next week or so, but next week or soon. And when we see those numbers, we do expect them to jump a little. We hope they will. I'm not sure they'll get to 1.6 because of the car sale issue, but if they do, and we'll let you know what those numbers are, but we do expect them to jump, and the trend has been that the state is essentially underestimating revenues most of the time, and that third month is a little higher, and maybe they're earning a little interest off the float, right? I don't know, but that seems to be the trend. We're hoping that we have a good December.
Yeah, we do see that if you compare November to November from last year to this year, it is a slight increase. So that's a positive thing to look for. Where the prior year we did very well and then we dipped down, but now we're a tad higher, but at least it's higher.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
My second question is, where are we on expending the ARPA funds?
We actually have all of them committed, except for, I think we came up with about $15,000 that we couldn't get committed in time by the 31st deadline. But I know that projects are underway. They're trying their best to get everything out, and bids taken and projects undergoing. I know the PD remodel is one of them, and so yeah, we're
Okay,
making
good. Yeah.
sure
We don't-
everything's committed. So we just need to
don't
make,
want anything clawed
no,
back.
no.
So I understand the ARPA funds, though, had to be spent or allocated by the 2024.
Yeah, they had to be committed.
So that
yeah.
$15,000 has to go back to the state, or?
Yes,
Okay.
the federal.
Yep.
Yeah.
You could have
So-
gave it to me. And
But out of 22, almost 22 million, that's
That's not bad.
That's not bad at
Yeah,
all.
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
I would have took the 15,000.
Yeah, we
Spent it
tried, and
well.
we were at the last hours pushing through POs and getting it all encumbered.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Mhm.
Any other comments or questions?
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
very good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tiffany.
I lost my place here, going back and forth. Can I have a motion to approve the item?
I'll make a motion to approve item, I closed my, hold on.
9A.
9A.
Yeah, thank you, 9A.
9B.
9B, or
9B.
9B, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And a second?
Second.
Deputy City Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Thank you, Mayor. We have a motion by Councilmember Mails, second by Councilmember Krupa. I will do a roll call, starting with Councilmember Krupa,
Yes.
Councilmember Lodge,
Yes.
Councilmember Mails,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0.
We will now move to City Council and staff reports. I would like to first call on Councilmember Krupa.
Oh, okay. Well, right up top, the library, and just how many of you have visited the library on a Tuesday other than the council meeting? Come on, people, you've got to come to the library on Tuesday.
I was there today.
No, but I got a report from library staff that Tuesday is just booming, that they need more help.
Oh, well,
Yes, so-
budget is coming up.
Budget is coming up, yes.
Very good. And story time is tomorrow. Story time is every Wednesday afternoon. And that is when staff and council members can actually volunteer to read storybooks to young people getting involved. Riverside County Transportation Commission, we didn't have our Western Projects meeting on Monday, but what we did have was the toll policy subcommittee, which I am now on. And that's very interesting because this subcommittee works with the vendors on establishing and maintaining the toll lanes on the 91 and the 15. I think it's going to be a really interesting subcommittee. And our next meeting, whenever it gets scheduled, because it's only on demand, we're going to be visiting one of the toll policy facilities on the 91 to see all of the technology that is used with all of the screens like that monitor the flow of traffic and the algorithms, how they judge the amount of traffic that is coming into the toll lane and exiting the toll lane so that a fair rate for the toll can be established. Really an interesting guideline which may help us in the future when we put a toll lane through Hemet. We will be having our yearly annual workshop in, I think, February 22nd and 23rd in Temecula. RTA, I am going to actually read what they are doing because part of their projects are in Hemet, and can't do both there. Let me go with the rides. Free rides, of course, for young people, which is anybody 18 and under, is still free on all routes until the end of June. The total ridership for the month of December was up 11.5% compared to the same month for last year. And overall, the ridership for RTA is up 8.4% in fiscal year 2024. RTA is one of the few transit agencies that is really bounding back. And a whole lot has to do with Go Micro, which is in the Hemet-San Jacinto Valley and really on demand, so they're looking to expand that service. There's many cities that are standing in line and waving their little hands and saying, we want Go Micro in our town now. So we were very fortunate to have that. The other thing that there are free rides for everyone on Transit Equity Day, which is Tuesday, February 4th, which is coming up very, very soon. And that is the commemorative for Rosa Parks. And they always do a really interesting thing on all of the buses. They put a sign on the front seat that says, no, you can't sit here. And that's in honor of Rosa Parks and her stand many, many, many years ago. The other thing, the Wentworth property, if you don't know, RTA owns the Wentworth property, and they have, we agreed on the project to award architectural and engineering services to a company out of San Diego to give estimates on utilizing that property for RTA's use. In years past, that portion of the property had been rented out to Last Bait. And now that they moved and built a bigger facility on Sanderson, RTA can actually use it because RTA is expanding. So, and the big news is that RTA received the American Public Works Association Inland Empire Branch Overall Project of the Year Award for their Vine Street Mobility Hub. So we're hoping that in a couple years, the Hemet Mobility Hub will receive that same award. And with that, the Hemet Water Master Board, Joe Grindstaff, the newly elected board member for EMWD, has been appointed to the Water Master Board. So that's going to be exciting. He is a definite powerhouse when it comes to California water. And the Arts and Culture Ad Hoc Committee is submitting another grant, and this one is for asphalt art. We're gonna paint our streets. And we are going to keep going after grants until we get them, and then continue to. But it's really, it's a good ad hoc, and a lot of community involvement from everybody, so we're happy. And that's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Lodge?
Really simply, I'm personally looking forward to the next couple of days. It's going to be educational, I believe. I hope so, anyways. The whole lineup that they have going on is very interesting. Me being a newbie, shall we say, to get the ins and outs of what the law really says and what we can do, what we can't do, and how we do it is, because the general public thinks that, okay, you come up with an idea and why isn't it done yesterday? And I've learned that it takes a long time to get some stuff done sometimes. And that and the youth council is just, I am so hyped on that. I can't wait to get these kids going. It's gonna be so much fun. And hopefully we'll all learn something. So, that's all I got.
And I just want to add what he was referring to in the beginning was we're going to Cal Cities Convention the next few days, and we will be learning lots of good things and bringing it back to our city.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Councilmember Mills.
I don't have much. I took 2 weeks off, just hanging out by myself. Anyways, but I did go to one event on Saturday. It was the Exchange Club of San Jacinto Valley, Hemet San Jacinto Valley, and the honorees were the Ward family. I believe there was 6 generations of the Ward family. If you ever see that S that's on the mountain up there going north or south, north, on the 215 or any major highway, they're the ones that take care of that S sign. So, it's something, is it S? Yeah, it's S, right? It's S, I thought. But anyways, so it was a good event, and most of us were there. I believe Linda was there, and Jackie, or Mayor Jackie Peterson. And then also coming up on May 23rd to the 25th, we're gonna have a 3-day event. It's gonna be at the skate park. It's going to be the City of Hemet and Codex Skate Shop, and they're going to have awards to the best skaters, and they're going to have a first place, second place, third place, and best trick, equaling to about $5,000 in rewards or close to it. So that's something that you're going to enjoy. I believe at the mall we're going to have a temporary skating. What are we going to have there? An event at the mall to bring people to the mall?
There's going to be an actual competition there.
Yeah, competition at the mall too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's going to be pretty good. So if you can make it, if you have grandkids, kids, get them on skateboards, get them working on them so they can go and compete. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilmember Kendrick, Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick.
Everybody's having a hard time. Takes a minute. I had a meet and greet orientation with WRCOG yesterday for all their new members. Our next meeting is going to be on Monday, so I'll have more to report on that. In addition, the RCA will have their meeting on Monday as well, and then I was appointed to the executive board, so I'll be in Riverside most of Monday. And that's all I have for that. I did want to ask one thing, based on the potential suspension of federal funding. I know that, I was wondering, can we get a list of projects that would be impacted by that? That's something that I've kind of been looking at in my day job. And so that's of concern, especially for infrastructure projects, but CDBG and lots of other funding sources. So just trying to see what potential impacts we'd be looking at and how that might impact us moving forward.
And we're trying to understand that too, and I think we have a number of questions. And I do know that at the Mayor Council Academy that's happening tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, there is one session on legislation, and I'm hopeful that that session will include also some helpful insights on exactly what you asked about.
Mayor, can I add to those comments?
Yes.
So it's obviously something that city attorneys throughout the state are tracking as well. The city attorney online community run by Cal Cities, planning on having a webinar for city attorneys on January 30th. It's going to be led by General Counsel for the League of California Cities. I did listen to oral arguments that occurred today on a temporary restraining order in a lawsuit that was filed this morning that resulted in a stay of that OMB memorandum. And the Department of Justice attorneys who were there, their position is that no one can point to a specific harm caused by this memorandum because it's not specific enough. It doesn't actually list what programs are going to be halted. And so while cities and I think counties and special districts and states are all trying to figure out exactly what does the memorandum mean for them, I think the federal government is also trying to figure out what the OMB memorandum means on their side as well. So I think it's going to be something that's going to play out over the next few weeks.
You're right. So I know today I received a list of every project that has federal funding in the jurisdiction that I work for. So if I think that might be beneficial to council just to see what potential impacts there are. I think that would be beneficial for all of us.
I would clarify that the DOJ, the Department of Justice attorneys did indicate that it wasn't the federal government's intent to stop all federal funding and grants, only those that were directly impacted by the other executive orders issued by the president. And those appear to be primarily related to Green New Deal and DEI initiatives. But that being said, the Medicaid payment portal was down for all 50 states as of this afternoon. So not entirely clear, but I'll let you know after our webinar on the 30th.
Okay, so my reports, I'll start with the Business Outreach Ad Hoc Committee. We continue to do our business walks every month. We did one last month. It was over on the corner of Devonshire and Sanderson, where that Mexican place is, and the Subway and all those stores over there. So it's always interesting to get feedback from our businesses, and we will be doing another one in District 1 this week, and next week, and it'll be in District 1, and now we're going to invite the council member from that district and myself. Previously, Councilmember Males and I were on the business ad hoc, and we always went. And then it was suggested that maybe the person that has that district should go and liaise with their people. So we changed that. If the district person is not available, we would love to have you come along.
Sorry.
So we're doing that. So we're going to do the next one in District 1, and that's next week. So the Chamber of Commerce is doing great things. We've had a lot of ribbon cuttings recently, and last week we had a very good chamber mixer at Golden Era Golf Course, and very good turnout, and a lot of good networking was done there. So that's good. I did help with the homeless point in time count, and our community solutions coordinator and I kind of hung out together for a while and got some feedback from all the people out there. He went out there. I wasn't that brave. I held down the fort here with the county person. So it was a good event, though, and a lot of good volunteers. So we thank everybody for coming out and volunteering for that project. It was very, very worthwhile. So Ramona Bowl. We're gearing up for the 102nd performance of the play. They had different tryouts and volunteers sign-ups last Saturday. And I believe they still need a few Rock Indians, right, Linda? They do. So they need Rock Indians. So all you people out there, if you have a younger one, kids, contact the Ramona Bowl because we're looking for more Rock Indians. Along with that, we are starting a fundraiser. I say we because I'm the liaison. I go to the meetings, but I'm not an official part of the board. But Helen Hunt Jackson is the person that wrote Ramona and A Century of Dishonor, which was the book that told about the mistreatment of the Indians. And from that, the Ramona pageant play originated. So it was suggested that we should get a Helen Hunt Jackson star on the Palm Springs Walk of Stars. So we are going to try to do that. It takes money, though. So just this last week, the Ramona Bowl launched a GoFundMe page, and we are looking for any amount of donations so we can get a star for Helen Hunt Jackson, keep promoting the Ramona play, keep promoting our tourism, and we want to bring people into our town. And this would be great to have more recognition outside and in the desert and bring people towards us this way so they learn about this great woman and what she did. So that's one of the things we're doing. Last Friday I had a very nice presentation by Habitat for Humanity in Temecula. Their representative came to our last council meeting and invited us to attend a remembrance ceremony for Jimmy and Rosalind Carter. And I went to that, and it was wonderful. They did a beautiful job on honoring him, and they had a couple people that had personally met him, and they spoke. And they've been very active in that region, and now we want to partner with them also. So we are going to be talking to them more, and we have some ideas on how we can partner with Habitat for Humanity and get the ball rolling for some good projects in Hemet. So that was very good. So, and other than that, I think that's all I have. City Manager?
We are going to publish a city update this week, and in that city update, we will have additional information about how the community can help support the fundraiser for the Helen Hunt Star on the Palm Springs Walk of Stars. I think this is going to be one of those fundraisers where $20 and $50 donations really make the difference, and so we're hopeful that everyone in our community will consider a donation. I just want to take time. It's not every day or week that you have two fairly significant fires in town, and we had two significant fires last week that could have injured people and certainly damaged or burned down homes. And I want to personally thank our firefighters and our police officers, Battalion Chief Axel for her leadership, for getting us through those, and for our partners at CAL FIRE and beyond. Those were real events. Those were tremendously dangerous. We had very high winds that first night, I think 50 to 70 miles an hour in some cases. We're very lucky, but we're also staffed with excellent people, and I'm very appreciative.
Thank you. We will now move to the future agenda items. City Manager, do you have a report on the future agenda items?
Yes, I want to speak briefly about this. This is a return to an item that was on the agenda in the past, and it's an opportunity for the council and the community to look forward at items that are coming. We do our best to try to we will do our best to try to identify the date we think the item will land. So it provides insight into some of those items that people have been following in the community. We have 5 items, so a couple of items roll on to the next page here if you're looking at a printed version of the agenda. But we have 5 items highlighted for the February 11th agenda. I will say that the number 4 item, lobbying and advocacy services, award a contract, that's probably going to go out 2 meetings with challenges in identifying a date for interviews. So we're going to end up, I think, interviewing those in mid-February, and we anticipate an award at the end of February. But we're interested in moving that forward quickly because we have a few pressing matters that I think that an advocacy service could help with. So I'm happy to answer questions about that, and we'll do our best to continue to grow the forecast on those.
Council, do you have any questions or comments on the upcoming items?
One thing. We start our meetings now at 6 p.m., so if you came at 7 thinking that the meeting was starting at 7. I know I've seen a couple of people walk in, so I just want to let you know, let the public know that 6 p.m. now on the second and fourth Tuesday.
Anyone else? As stated earlier, we are going to go into a closed session, so this meeting will be adjourned. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned to the next City Council meeting on February 11th, 2025. Thank you for joining us tonight. I want to catch hot.